Okay, here we are. We left off blowing out of the state hospital, and my friend Billy, lifelong friend, who really wanted to help out, and he really did at the time, but the high of escaping wore off real quick. I mean, where was I going to go? I mean, think about it. There were charges pending, a couple cases in the state of Maryland, and Chamoy had already pleaded guilty to a federal case in California and never showed up for sentencing. So, at the very least, there was some paper stacked up. And he had a few problems. He had some people looking for him. And all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, like, where am I going to go? And Billy and a few others, they passed the hat and got a couple $100 together. And the next thing we know, Chapter 3 really begins with Dr. Chamoy ending up in early June or mid-June of '69 in Greenwich Village of New York. Now this was like being in another planet. And I ended up staying, it was at the Hotel Albert. I don't know if it's there any longer, but for those of you that are familiar with the village, it was at 10th and University, right above NYU. And it was really a freaky hotel. They had all the pictures of all the different artists and musicians who have, when they were starting out, Sly and the Family Stone, Janis Joplin. There are photos on the wall, Sweetwater, bands of that time that were of the Woodstock era. And, yeah, it was a place for me. I mean, I just fit right in. Before I got off the elevator to the 5th floor, had already met two little girls, and they were hustling hashish and along with some other things, so I didn't have to be there too very long before catching a buzz. At the New York scene, Chapter 3 really begins like, gee, Chamoy, what are you going to do? You can't go home. You're 22 years of age. You got a lot of people looking for you, and you're still out there partying, and how are you going to make your ends meet? Well, one of the things that happened, the place existed at the time at 302 Bleecker Street in Greenwich Village, the west side. And there was a little Spanish restaurant. It was owned by Sam and Nick, and a Jew and a Greek who served Spanish food and French and Italian wines. So I knew there was a place for me there, some place to fit in. And I had to twist the truth a little bit when I asked for a job as a server, and told them that, I had plenty of experience. Well, I had none whatsoever. And the first night went along just great. It went along just great until I had to fillet somebody's fish at the table. Well, the fish ended up all over their plate. And of course, they were unhappy. I wanted to crawl under the table. And I said, listen, sir, I said, I'm really sorry. I'll get you another one. And I said, you just don't understand. This is my first night. And he goes, oh, I see. I said, well, no. I said, I don't think you really see. I said, I mean, things could really be a lot worse. And he didn't know what was coming next. He says, I beg your pardon. And I changed my voice inflection and looked at him. I said, well, listen, I mean, I could be in the back cooking your food, and instead, those guys have got to get their first night on the job too, you know. And thankfully, he and the rest of their table laughed. They laughed and laughed. Oh, I'm safe. I said, listen, the order's coming in. I'll bring you some bread rolls. And I said, when the new rainbow trout gets out here, I'll have the head waiter come over and teach me what I need to know. And things worked out that night. There was a lot of stress, but that became my home for the next 3 months. And Woodstock was around the corner. And like everybody else, I had no idea what was to come. I had everybody looking for me, and a friend of mine at that time said, "Are you going to go to Woodstock?" And I went, "Howard, I can't." I said, "This is my lifeline. They're letting me work here 4 days a week. They feed me 2 meals a day. They're paying me under the table. I don't have any place else to go. This is it, man, And of course, we all know what happened with Woodstock, but Chamoy's not going to be here and tell you he's one of those people. Oh, yeah, I was there at Woodstock. I just can't remember anything. One of the things I do remember about it, and I pass it on today when I do attend music festivals, is that of wavy gravy when communicating with others. And most hippies, like most of us, really don't care for authority. Ask people to please do this or please don't do that. It really goes a whole lot further than somebody, with one of them tin stars yelling, "Hey, get off the grass!" Listen, we just wanted to get the palate going. The real stories for Chapter 3 are going to come up here on the conclusion. And I'm going to give you an idea what we did before we close out. And that is, in those days, Chamoy met the Brotherhood from Laguna Beach, somebody that was plugged in, and they had the Orange Sunshine LSD, along with meeting somebody that was peddling a street drug known as Love Song and white powder, which was really the raw form for what is known as PCP. Well, we got this smart idea about mixing a little bit of the white powder with a tab of the Orange Sunshine and putting it all in the same capsule together. And I asked my friend Saul as we were doing it in the Hotel Albert, I went, "Hey, Saul, what are we going to call these things when we put them out on the streets?" And Saul responded with, "We're going to call them supersets." We'll talk more about supersets and where it landed people and where it landed Chamoy when we get to the conclusion of Chapter 3, Part 2. So please stay tuned.